Hey guys, it's Hayden from Clutch City Chat. We are one day removed from the Houston Texans' 26-23 victory over the Indianapolis Colts in overtime last night on Sunday Night Football. And what a roller coaster it was. Yet again, the Houston Texans are not giving you any idea what kind of football team they are. Very up and down. So I really want to just touch up on my thoughts about the game and really touch on a couple things. First things first, Brock Osweiler didn't look good enough through the first three games, and that's putting it lightly. To be honest, he looked like a guy that didn't even belong in the league last night through the first three quarters. Missing on wide open throws. Well, not wide open, but throws he should have made. There was one instance where it was a 10-yard pass to DeAndre Hopkins. It was about 10 yards down the field. And he threw it about 2 or 3 yards behind DeAndre Hopkins on a crossing route straight into the chest of a defensive back and Vontae Davis. Throws like that cannot happen if you're making $72 million. Personally, at halftime, I was calling for Tom Savage. And I know some of y'all think that that's me being a fair weather fan, but as far as I'm concerned, this guy's got to be 10 times better than what he's been so far this year if he's going to be making the money that he's making this year and for the next 3 years. It's just plain and simple. It's got to be better. But with that being said, he looked great in the fourth quarter. He looked good in overtime. He's proving to be that he's a clutch performer, dating back to his stint with Denver when he beat the Patriots on Sunday Night Football last year. He is 2-2 going into the fourth quarter when he's down by more than 14 points since his first start last year with the Denver Broncos. And the rest of the NFL is 1-96 in that situation during that span. So 3 wins out of every situation that has happened, and Brock Osweiler owns 2 of them. That's pretty impressive. But with that being said, it's hard for me to hop on Brock Osweiler's bandwagon after just a quarter and a half of good football. I got to see it more. And I'm not saying I need to see the Hall of Fame caliber play like he played in fourth quarter and Hall of Fame, well, in the overtime, excuse me. And I'm not getting carried away. Trust me, I'm very grounded on how I feel about Brock Osweiler. Trust me. But he played close to lights out in fourth quarter and overtime. But there's got to be some middle ground there between the guy that looks like he doesn't belong in the league and the guy that played in the fourth quarter and overtime of last night's game. Preferably a little bit closer to, what we saw in the later stages of last night. Going against Denver, it will be a good test for him because it's another good defense that he'll have to show up against, and we all know how he looked against Minnesota. I understand part of that's not on him, but he's the quarterback. He's getting paid the money, so he needs to make something happen. Moving on, Lamar Miller looked great last night. Looked very spry. Looked like he was running well. Offensive line looked like they were blocking well for him. So there's that's definitely a bright spot. But let's not get carried away. The Colts don't have a good defense. They certainly don't have a good run defense. Gave up a lot of rushing yards to the Chicago Bears of all teams the week before us. So there's a cause for optimism there. But like I said, this Texans team leaves much to the imagination. We don't know what this team is yet. We look good against the Chiefs. We looked okay against the Bears, the Titans, and then last night we squeaked by the Colts. So you really don't have a good grasp of how this team actually is. The secondary is a cause of concern. Kevin Johnson, report coming out today that he has re-injured that broken foot that he suffered last year. Jonathan Joseph suffered a concussion last week against Minnesota, and he injured his forearm last night against the Colts. Kareem Jackson out with a hamstring injury already. Quentin Demps is a guy who missed the game last week. Sorry. And then KJ Dillon, who is depth at the position, but formidable special teams player that will be missed due to a torn ACL. He's out for the year. So they're going to have to find depth at that position. A.J. Boye's been playing well this year. And Charles James has been, he's been iffy. But they're going to have to bring some guys in. They're going to have to see if they can get some outside help. Probably look at the practice squad. I'm not entirely sure of who they got on the practice squad right now. But it'll be interesting to see how the secondary holds up against, especially up against Emmanuel Sanders and Demaryius Thomas on Monday Night Football coming up against the Denver Broncos. And that. I feel like this game will be a testament and will give us a good idea of who this Houston Texans team is. Are they what we think they should be, or are they underperformers? I understand Denver has had their recent struggles losing against San Diego and then also being taken down by Atlanta at home. But I just think that's just going to mean they're going to be out for blood on Monday night. There's going to be a lot of motion in that game. Obviously, Kubiak being the coach of the Houston Texans here from 2006 to 2014, I believe. And then, obviously, Brock Osweiler leaving Denver. So there's going to be a lot of things that are going to make this an emotional game. So it'll be a good game. Hopefully the Texans don't lay an egg, and we'll see what happens on Monday night and Mile High. But overall, some things to be optimistic about after last night's game. We are 4-2, and as you can see, that's a blessing in this league. Carolina Panthers going to the Super Bowl last year, and they are starting the season at 1-5. And me personally, I believe that they have a lot of talent on that team, and they should be better than 1-5. So, you could argue that the Texans could, have a much worse record up to this point. So we'll count our blessings. We're happy we're 4-2, but it's all about how we finish the season, how we go into this bye, and how we respond going forward. But that's it for me today. Just really wanted to get my thoughts on the game. Keep an eye out for our videos coming up. We're going to try to get back together and do some more professional shooting like we had been doing before. So keep an eye out for that. But that's all for me today. Thanks for watching.